This is the third time that Department of Justice leadership has tried to indict James, and now the second time it has failed.
Well, I feel like we could honestly just go to break and leave it there because that seems very clear. But just to drill down on that.
Saying we got a chance.
Exactly. Oh, my gosh. But you said that it's very hard.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And, of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, I got some news for y'all. You know, we've been following the Letitia James bank fraud case ever since it first broke out on X way back in February time frame. And since then, she has been indicted. She's gone to court. Judge has thrown out that indictment. The Department of Justice under Pam Bondi, under her leadership and stewardship, they tried to re-indict Letitia James, and that failed. That was in the Norfolk area, I believe, the federal district court in the Norfolk area. And I thought, hey, they might try it again. And now news has come out today, y'all, that they tried again. They being the Trump administration, the Department of Justice, they tried again to indict Letitia James for the second time in about a week and a half's time, and they failed again. You heard that right. So they got the indictment the first time. That was tossed. The second time they went for the indictment, it failed. Today they went for the third time's a charm, and it failed. And now people are literally just laughing at them. You're gonna see this on this video today. They're having those deep belly laughs at the administration, y'all, because frankly, this just doesn't look good. So we're gonna take a look at that, and then a little bit later, we're gonna see that the administration suffered another big blow today, y'all. A person that they said would never, ever be free in the United States again, will never be free in the United States again, is now free in the United States as of today, y'all. So two big blows to the Trump administration. Without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it. But before we do, y'all, we are launching our official Patreon. So if you want to be a founding member on our Patreon, we have just 222 slots, y'all. If you want to be a founding member, go down, click the very first link in the description, and you're gonna feel good about this, y'all, because believe it or not, we are an actual paralegal school, and we help people get their paralegal certificate and get working in the paralegal field. And all of the proceeds from our Patreon, when you enroll as a founding member, all of that is gonna go to scholarships for people who would like to study at our institute, y'all. So click that first link down in the description. Join us as a founding member, y'all. This deal will not come back. Now let's get into the story.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. Often a good axiom for life, but is it a good axiom in this case?
Right, perseverance, I guess, can be a virtue in some instances, but I would argue no here. So believe it or not, DOJ technically is allowed to try yet again. You can continually try to indict a person. You can go to one grand jury after another. That said, for all realistic and practical purposes, someone needs to get it through the Justice Department's head. This is over. We have never, I can point to no case in the last 20 years where you've had a case thrown out by a judge, then you had a grand jury refuse to indict it, which is very hard to do. Then you had a second grand jury a week later refuse to re-indict it. This is an embarrassment for DOJ. The writing could not be any clearer on the wall. This case is simply not going to happen. One of the lessons that you learn as a prosecutor is you have to pick your battles and you have to know when to cut your losses. That time has come for DOJ on this case.
Well, I feel like we could honestly just go to break and leave it there because that seems very clear. But just to drill down on that.
Saying we got a chance.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. But you said that it's very hard.
So in case you were wondering, Lindsey Halligan, who did secure the first indictment, she continues in her position in some way, I guess. I'm not exactly sure. I'll be honest with y'all. I'm not exactly sure how she continues with her position because she is currently disqualified. Now, as the news reporters are going to talk about this, it sounds like they're insinuating that Halligan is playing a role in these attempts at indictment, but she was disqualified. So we're going to have to look into that and get more clarity more clarification on that for the next video.
This is the third time. It is not a charm.
Yeah, it is not a charm, Katie. This is the third time the Justice Department, at the direction of the President of the United States, has tried to indict Letitia James, one of his perceived enemies, the person who accused him successfully of a serial effort to defraud banks and lenders. This is the third time that Department of Justice leadership has tried to indict James, and now the second time it has failed. The first time they were able to indict James when Lindsey Halligan came into office sometime after September 20th. I think it was November 4th. That indictment was dismissed on the argument that Lindsey Halligan, the U.S. attorney installed by Donald Trump, had never been legally appointed to that job and did not have the authority to prosecute anyone. That office has kind of ignored that judicial decision that Halligan is inappropriately appointed to that job. She remains in that position, and now a third time an attempt to indict Letitia James has failed.
So many commentators are saying that they've never seen somebody where there was an attempt to indict that person 2 times that both failed, and then the government went for a third attempt. So I think that the commentator on CNN said that earlier, but here on MSNBC, they're going to say, yeah, they could go again, and that she has seen something like this before where the government will just go time and time and time and time again. I don't know, y'all. What do you think? Let's take a look at what she says.
Can they try again, Lisa? Lisa Rubin's also joining us.
They could try again, but I am not aware of an attempt to indict somebody a fourth time that works, other than in the Sidney Reed case. Sidney Reed is one of the protesters during the National Guard's sort of role in D.C. Sidney Reed is a protester who was indicted. My understanding or my recollection is that it took 4 tries before she was actually indicted. So it's not clear to any of us that they're going to stop trying. And of course, this comes at a time where the president is trying to elevate Lindsey Halligan's nomination. You know, Carol and I have been talking about Lindsey Halligan in her role as the interim U.S. attorney, but Trump also nominated her to fill that role on a permanent basis on September 30th, at a time and in a manner that most of us didn't really even recognize. As of last night, Lindsey Halligan has now submitted a questionnaire to the Senate Judiciary Committee indicating that the White House would like to go forward with her nomination. So as the president is placing his confidence in her, saying this is my person for the permanent role, her office under her leadership has now struck out for a second time on their third attempt to indict his once and I guess future enemy, Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York.
That is so interesting that they're still standing by her. They're still wanting to push through that nomination.
And then, as I previewed earlier in this video, y'all, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, he is free in the United States now, okay? So it's not just that the judge ordered that he be freed. He's free. The order has been implemented. He's loose. He's let go. He's out there. So that is also going to be pie in the face, egg on the face, a big old embarrassing moment for the Trump administration and the Department of Justice.
We begin with breaking news. The Trump administration said this would not happen, but it just did. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was just set free.
His case has gotten international attention since ICE mistakenly deported him to his home country of El Salvador. He was brought back to Nashville earlier this year to face human smuggling charges. News 2's Audrey Mayer is here with more on why a judge set him free and has new reaction from one of them.
Haley and Bob, part of the reason appears to be essentially paperwork that was never completed. The judge wrote in a 31-page opinion that Abrego Garcia's detention had no legal justification because no order of removal had ever even existed. On top of that, after several failed attempts to deport him to various African countries, the filing says the U.S. government did not take any steps to remove Abrego Garcia to the country which had offered to take him, Costa Rica. While in ICE custody, U.S. officials notified Abrego Garcia They plan to deport him to Uganda, then Eswatini, then Ghana. But the court filing says none of these countries were ever viable options, and at least 2 had not even been asked to take Abrego Garcia before respondents claimed supposed removal to each. The Justice Department could choose to appeal, and the Trump administration could also seek to open a new case against Abrego Garcia. Abrego Garcia is still awaiting trial on human smuggling charges related to a 2022 traffic stop in Putnam County. His lawyers call the charges vindictive and selective prosecution.
He's on his way home to his family in Maryland. None of us know what tomorrow is going to bring. I wish that the government would leave well enough alone. This family suffered enough. But at the same time, I've been handling this case for long enough that I don't expect the government to leave him alone.
The White House, the administration opposed this activism from a judge who is really acting as a judicial activist, which we've unfortunately seen in many cases across the country.
Y'all, if you add to this the fact that Indiana refused Trump's directive to redistrict and gain additional Republican districts, I'm not going to cover that in this video, but they did it, okay? They did that today. So it's not a good day. It's not a good day to be Donald Trump. It's definitely not a good day to be Pam Bondi. But he has expressed his support of her. It seems like she's going to be sticking around. You know, in previous videos, I've said, hey, you know, Bondi needs to get it together because all of this is happening on her watch. But she has the confidence of the president, and that is what's most important as it relates to her job security. So y'all, let me know, what do you think about all this? Do you think they'll go after Letitia James again? Will they just keep launching these? Will they just keep convening grand jury until they can get her indicted? And then, I mean, how strong could the case really be from a legal perspective if a grand jury will not even give you a true bill, won't let this case go forward? It's going to be 100 times harder to get a jury to convict, probably. Grand juries don't have to be unanimous, y'all. And there's no defense in a grand jury proceeding. So imagine when you get to offer a defense and it has to be unanimous, it's going to be harder to get a conviction. So y'all, it's not looking good. So y'all, let me know what you think about all this. Drop a comment down below. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button. Share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.